Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we got for you. CFTC to control crypto, but at what cost? We're going to hear from Rostin Benham and Gary Gensler from the SEC. And watch out, ladies and gentlemen, NFTs XLS 20 set to go live. We're going to tell you when. Somebody wrote a beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook for exclusive content. $978 billion market cap for cryptocurrency. And we are looking right now at Bitcoin, 19,600, 1,300 plus for Ethereum, and XRP is at 47 cents. Good morning, everybody. Look, I just want to say this is at the time of, I'm making some content while we're out of town, but I'm going to upload it when I get home. It helps save time trying to keep my head into the vacation. We're having a blast. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Glint, you know they are a sponsor, and I love being a customer even more. And I tell you, once you start using Glint, which is a way to have physically allocated gold and get a debit card along with it, so you can spend your gold as money without the merchant knowing one single thing, and you're hedging inflation. Gold is God's money. And if you start doing it like I've done it, you won't stop doing it. And right here, Glint reminds us India is getting closer to launching its own CBDC, while it will no doubt help many of the country's citizens who are outside the financial system. It also makes surveillance easier and runs the risk of increased future fraud. And we know that there are pros and cons to this digital world, the CBDCs, the stable coins. I talk about it all the time. This is also one of the great reasons why I love Glint so much. Click that link. You'll love it too. Michael Branch right here. Sorry, I've got like a million tabs open. This will open up here eventually for us all. 1 second. Users can now create XRP accounts on MetaMask. Now, one person here says not so fast, but he says users can now use MetaMask, a popular self-custody wallet. XRP holders can now create MetaMask accounts. But there was and I did look at the thing, and this gentleman here brought it up and said, I think this is not yet implemented. DevNet is the one active for EVM sidechain of XRP Ledger. Developers are currently exploring EVM for a sidechain. Now, we reported that in a previous video. So whether it's now or whether it's later, this is about to be a very real thing. So brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Interoperability, bringing all of these different networks together. And I tell you, that's exactly the experience we have on the internet now. It's not one protocol that makes the internet. It's many that work together to provide a federated experience, right? A federated group, right? This whole group of these protocols. And I believe we're going to see a handful of protocols really complement the internet experience. Instead of being the internet of information, we're going to move to the internet of value. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's already started to happen, honestly. Right here, we see that CFTC commissioner plans to define roles for retail investors. This concerns me, ladies and gentlemen. You want to make sure that you can provide expanded access to retail investors, but in a way that's safe and affordable for them, which might look very different than how institutions or a high net worth individual might purchase. Now, this sounds a lot to me like somebody's about to introduce how to get the retail out or how to squash your ability to invest for you and your family, because we're too stupid. That's how they see us. Sam Bankman-Fried suggests maybe the same thing. Looking at this post right here, FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried supports knowledge tests for retail traders to get into risky trading strategies. I said this the other day in a video. I've said it in years past, but you can go to the casino and you can bet the farm. That's okay. Oh boy. You know, this is Gary when none of us are really a fan. Gary, you were doing so well at MIT, and then you get here at the SEC, and everything that you taught seems to have fallen to the floor, right? The clarity, the understanding you had. Now, all of a sudden, he thinks it's clear that everything's a security. I have to wonder if he was back at the CFTC like he was years ago, if everything would clearly be a commodity if he was sitting in that chair. There's a sneaking suspicion that says that that's probably accurate. Well, here he is again. It's very clear. Most cryptos are securities, he says. Look, Congress actually gets paid to solve this problem. It would be nice to see them do their job and pass clear legislation to release innovation from the regulators' grips like a Gary Gensler. Listen to what he says here. It's just, listen.
And talk to the SEC or enforcement actions. How else can you make it clear that, okay, here are the types of tokens that don't fall within our purview? There's so much confusion.
Rena, I just don't accept it. Not liking the answer is not the same as not knowing the answer.
Oh, so condescending. And I tell you, it's like, well, I tell you what, Gary, here's the problem. The problem is that your agency, the SEC, gave a free pass, notwithstanding the initial coin offering and the fundraising that went on, as William Hinman's cheap ass went on about, overlooking the ICO of Ethereum to give them a free pass. And you, while you're there at that agency, overlooking the identities of the 4 Satoshis that have been uncovered by Department of Homeland Security. So it's this lack of consistency coming from Gary that's really, really the problem here.
And, you teach at Georgetown. You've got great students. I mean, you ask them, wait, when you look, ask for a show of hands even in that audience there. Is there anybody in the audience that is working with a crypto token project?
And I just can't listen anymore. But the truth is, he goes on to talk about if you've had some kind of an agreement or arrangement, obviously then there's an expectation of profit based on others. And I get it, all of that. But, that's why the safe harbor was put together by so many that worked on it. But Gary wants to refuse to bring in something like a safe harbor, which could absolutely clear the way for innovation. Give us a window to get decentralized, as they say. Set a parameter that someone could look at and download the bullet points and go, here's what makes you decentralized. It's not just the Howey test. It's embarrassing to see him continue to do this. And I tell you, I believe that the lack of response from Congress really shows me that he has this blessing from Congress to do what he's doing from the SEC chair. Rostin Benham talks about what's going on here when it comes from the CFTC side of things here. He said he's committed to enforcing crypto regulations, but he believes that Congress needs to provide specific guidance on how to classify and compartmentalize each token. Listen to this quick clip here.
There are some regulators who say, well, it's pretty clear and there is no room for confusion. But the last few hours, I've just been hearing again and again that there is confusion. How do you think about it?
Well, there are a lot of different questions within, I think, the question you asked. And I think there's a lot that we have to dig into. I think right now, as regulators, we've had to rely on precedent and law that is fit for a very different model and very different financial instruments. Not suggesting that it doesn't work or can't work, but from my standpoint, and we should talk about this. We've had at least 2 federal courts say Bitcoin is a commodity. I've suggested myself that I believe Ether is a commodity. There are a number of other tokens that I believe are commodities, but the right analysis and the appropriate analysis needs to happen. Legal analysis needs to happen in order to compartmentalize where these tokens fit. I think the larger question is, what can we do as a market regulatory apparatus to ensure customer protections, to ensure market resiliency? And as I see this market mature, over the past couple of years, but certainly going back to 2009. And it's been remarkable, right? In 2017, I was in this building talking about Dodd-Frank, right? And a few months later, the CFTC listed its first registered, Bitcoin futures contracts on 2 of our registered exchanges. And that was a huge moment that forced us to think about a lot of policy and legal questions that we had otherwise not thought about. And I think there were moments where at that moment, the commission at the time, is this going to last? What's going to happen with these contracts? Will there be liquidity and open interest sufficient to maintain the contract? And here we are 5 years later, multiple trading platforms exist now that list these commodities. And as I'm sure many of you have heard, I've been calling on Congress to provide us more authority to regulate the cash market, which largely remains unregulated. And this is a partnership that we're all involved in. But figuring out these questions, these hard legal questions, I think in part are solvable, but in many respects, more work needs to be done.
And they go on to talk further about the cash market and needing that approval from Congress to get that power to regulate the cash market. Look, I don't have a problem with that. Somebody's got to regulate the spot market. Got it. Okay. That's not a tough sell. The problem here for me is, what is it going to look like, right? What is that going to look like? Because the CFTC is talking about defining the retail investor and the definition of what that is. Are they about to put limits on how much crypto you can buy or what cryptos you can buy? I don't know where this goes, but I got to be honest. I am not feeling warm and fuzzy about the CFTC creating more hype bars and points of entry for people who have an opportunity to invest in the innovation of this new digital age, and trying to restrict that and put parameters on it for a regular retail investor is damn near criminal in my mind, to be perfectly honest with you. Library says here, and this is why we don't really want it to come down to court, right? We want Congress to pass the legislation and get it right. Library says the judge on the SEC versus Library case, which is supposedly should have had a decision a week or 2 weeks ago, works part-time and can take as long as he wants. An elderly part-time employee that doesn't understand blockchain will be determining the future of it for all of America. That's just how it works, and there's not much we can do about it. Yikes. Bank of Jamaica. Well, this is going to be all day with the pages loading. Well, if you're wondering why I'm not bothering to stick around and upload this, it's because everything's so slow at the place that we're staying. So I think you get the idea. I'll be uploading a lot of this when I get home. Bank of America, or Bank of Jamaica, which is the peak bank in Jamaican region, is mulling plans to collaborate with the government to facilitate and promote the use of its central bank digital currency, known as JAMDEX, as a viable means of payment. Look, this is coming out, and it's going to be a rollout over years. I don't think anybody's really disillusioned by that. I think we've all seen enough information to understand that. And at some point, if all these CBDCs and stable coins, and we get the regulation and liquidity is being driven into these assets, what do you think's going to happen? You think all of that's going to happen in America and its entire financial system isn't going to take advantage the way the rest of the world is? Walmart's even getting in the game. Walmart said, you know what? We're going to make crypto transactions frictionless for their customers, and watch out, there's a metaverse coming too. Now, we're not going to play the clip because the gentleman breaks it down the same exact way. I just gave you the long and short of it. That's where we are, and I don't want this video getting too long either. Meet the next wave of creators utilizing the XRP Ledger, baby. NFTs are coming back. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Wave Salt projects focused on entertainment, made possible by NFT Marketplace and infra partners to ensure seamless user experience for creators. And this right here from blockchain backer XLS 20, amendment set to go live on the XRP Ledger on Halloween, October 31st. Say it isn't so. Actually, say it is so. And it is so. Fix in motion. NFTs on XRP on the way. Now, that's extremely exciting to me because you know that there are going to be a lot of companies, projects, and developers that realize the efficiency, scalability, the ease with the SDKs, all that stuff is available for them. And yeah, I believe you're going to see a mass exodus off of a lot of other blockchains and networks because of the benefits to do it on the XRP ledger. This is another use case coming to the ledger. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. So many things in the world are going to be NFTs, and I'm not just talking about pictures of cartoons, okay, which is great in its own right. But looking ahead, understanding what Halloween's going to bring, one measured technical analyst right here, Michael Van de Pape, which I believe has been really hard on XRP, if my memory serves me right, and forgive me, Michael, if I'm wrong, but I think that is accurate. According to top analysts, XRP seems ready to sustain its upward trend, he says. He further stated that a breakthrough to 52 cents could lead the trend up to 65 and possibly $1. Who's got a problem with that? Not me on the short end, I can tell you that. But I'm here for the long haul. I may be on vacation, but I'm watching and making videos. And when I get back from this slow internet connection, I'm going to upload them for you. It's time to get rolling. This vacation's coming to an end, baby. Crypto's coming. Daddy's knocking on the door. Open up. Come on in. I'm not a financial advisor. This ain't financial advice, but it is my digital perspectives. I'll catch you all on the next one.